This is a very elegant work and I am going to read it. But while I'm reading the text which I have written by my own hands, I will try not to show the text. So if you want to see it, you may see it and pause it and read it if you want. But on the other hand, it is quite difficult for me to read the text while showing the text as well. So I am just putting this here. Now you may see what is the video. Merneptah and the Stele. The Stele is considered as the first Stele which mentions the Israelites. Merneptah Stele was composed to celebrate the military success. It was designed as a brief inscription. It was not intended to be a detailed historical work. Now we come to several preliminaries. First preliminary. Some scholars try to argue that, and their argument is based on the Stele, that it falsifies some contents of Holy Tanakh and Sacred Quran. So this is very important, that what they try to do. Preliminary 2. Arguments against Tanakh. The Stele mention Israel as follow: Israel is wasted, bare of seed. Everything ends there. This is a small sentence. The word seed is a metaphor for offsprings. This Stele mentioned that Israel was perished and the offspring ceased to exist. Preliminary 3. The skeptic argued that in the case the Stele is telling the truth, a massive Kemetic military campaign occurred in the heart of the promised land, probably in the period of Judges. But the authors of Tanakh censored this event. So this is a very important thing, that if we consider early Exodus model and then try to say that this Stele was written in the period of the Pharaoh stated above, then the period of Judges is in the history of Israel, or we can say that it is in the period of Judges. Now preliminary 4, the Stele states Israel as an ethnic group, or indicates or determines Israel or identifies Israel as an ethnic group rather than a citizen of a very strong nation. This argument is used against the Holy Quran as well. So this is very important point. Now we will come and discuss it later. If the Exodus occurred in the regime of Ramesses II, Israel would be wandering in the desert. This is a very important point. But this Stele shows that they are an established people. This argument is also against Quran. So it is when we say that Israel is perished and we take it as an ethnic group, then things are different. But if we say that this is Stele present them as a nation in a country, this is something different. Now we try to answer all these objections. Number 1, this is the preliminary 6, and now we try to answer all these objections. Number 1 argument: Israel was not wasted neither before Exodus nor after Exodus. This is a very important point. Israel still exists. If occurrence of Exodus is true historically, then the historicity of the sentence on the Stele ceases. That means the sentence is false. So the Pharaoh ordered a false sentence to be written. The offspring of Israelites, Bani Israel, continued. So if they continued and did not cease, the part of the sentence that its seed was deprived, Israel was deprived of seed or offspring, becomes false. This proves that with certainty that the statement or report about Israelites is false and untrue. So please note it down that the Stele is not a true record. It is a mixture of false records and some true parts. And now we come to another point 3. This shows that the Israelites were known in the time inscription was written. Nothing more can be said argumentatively. So you may say that this Stele, the writer of the Stele, knew Israelites, but what he was writing about them was a false sentence. The Stele is absolutely silent about Exodus. Now the 5th point. This was the 4th point, that Stele is absolutely silent about the Exodus. Now we come to the 5th point, and this is very important point. There is no report and no evidence of military battle between Pharaohs and Moses alayhi salam or Musa alayhi salam, or the successors of Musa alayhi salam or Moses alayhi salam, posterior to the event of Exodus. One cannot argue with certainty that this small sentence mentions at least one war between any Pharaoh and Moses, or any Pharaoh and the follower of Moses. And actually it is talking about the Pharaoh we have discussed, who was the son of Ramesses II. This sentence implied that the son of Ramesses II had a war against Moses or his followers. But as the Stele is proved to be false report, it is wrong to argue from a sentence which is false and untrue. So we cannot argue that what Stele is saying about Israelites is true or not true. If it is saying that they are ethnic group and not citizen of a country, they had not occupied the country, even then we cannot trust the Stele, because the sentence has been proved to be false with certainty. Now we come to the point. If Amenhotep was the Pharaoh of Moses and Merneptah was the Pharaoh who had a war with Israelites, then about 250 years of this even war would have been occurred after 250 years after Exodus. Merneptah must have faced either Barak or Deborah or Gidon, or a tribal coalition. That's a very important thing, that if he is saying the truth and we have taken the old model, then who were the leaders of Israelites? Those people who faced him. So each in the tribal coalition, each tribe had its own Nasi and Zakan, elder leader or chief. But these tribes neither ceased nor perished. The very important thing, they continued to exist. Once again proving that the sentence in the Stele is false and untrue. If these tribes held the high lands, they remained independent, proving that the Stele is false in some of its contents at least. Well, those who think that no, that is there some truth in the Stele, so I will say that oh, well, accepted, but there is some falsehood in it as well. So we can differ on the falsehood and intensity of the falsehood. So no argument can be made except that the writer or author or the writer of the Stele knew Israelites. Other than that, nothing can be said with certainty. The Pharaoh could have attacked villages but could not conquer the mountains. Even to attack villages is one thing. To attack villages is one thing, and to defeat the allied army of the coalition, tribal coalition, is another thing. So if we consider that there was not a single authority or not a single king, but a number of tribes, and each tribe had a chief, so even then one may say that Pharaoh made a false sentence, a false statement. To conquer the mountain in is other than the two things. So these are three things that one may show to argue against the skeptics that this Stele is false, and they are arguing beyond the truth of the sentence. Based on Stele, one had to suggest the censorship in the Tanakh, and this is another problem. If you think that this Stele is telling the truth, you have to accept that there is a censorship in the Tanakh, and they have skipped the whole war or whole battle for some their own reasons. Another argument: choosing a word from the Stele cannot be a proof cannot be a proof in late Exodus model. Now, if we take that the Exodus occurred as according to the late model, even then this Stele cannot be true, since if a sentence is false, it is further error to argue from the false sentence. Now we say that what will happen, would have happened. The false sentence cannot prove that its falsehood is time dependent or a model dependent. Why this sentence is false? This is another point. Well, the sentence is false because it says that all the Israelis had been perished. But this is not true. We will continue the lecture later.